Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Come on in, sit on down. It's time for another live Q&A. I'm a day late once again. I have an excuse. I was on another podcast. Yes, yesterday I was up quite late from 10:30, about this time actually, and I was talking with the host over at Strange Brew Podcast. I think that was his name. Yeah, Strange Brew Podcast, and it was good. It was a good one. It's a really exciting show, I think, for the host, because I think he was like picking my brain about faith and conspiracy and Christianity and the Christian perspective. And I think he was happy to hear like somebody kind of explain it to him in a way he's never really heard before, and it was just good. It was exciting. I enjoyed it, and he enjoyed it too. And that's getting released on his podcast in maybe a couple of weeks, but that is available right now on Patreon. So I usually record these things, and there's always a delay before they become public, so I usually put them as early access on there. So if you're interested to find out what I was doing yesterday and why I couldn't do a live Q&A, go and listen on Patreon. It's available. Link is in the chat. It's in the description. Go and check it out. And it's a good way to help me and support me if that's what you feel inclined to do as well, with some extra content and there. Lots of things. A huge backlog of stuff on there. But I'm late, obviously, doing this because of that, so I thought I'd do it today instead. And today's been a busy day for me. I've been literally out all day. I woke up at about 6:30 in the morning, but from a screaming baby, and then I was out the door by about 10:30 on the way to the zoo with two children and my lovely wife, and I've spent the whole day at the zoo. And it was nice. It was a really nice day here in the north of England. Not a cloud in the sky. All day. I can't remember the last time I saw something like that happening in this place, And it was a nice 23 degrees Celsius, which was a lovely warm weather, a gentle breeze. It was like the perfect day in terms of weather for the UK. And it was a good day for us because we spent it all day looking at animals and kind of just switching off. Touching grass is a good way to describe it, and just having a family day. And I got back really late. We got back about 8:30, something like this, so maybe 8 o'clock. And I've just got the kids to bed, unwound a little bit, had a drink of water, and I'm led there thinking like, I should probably do a live show. So here I am. It's an impromptu live Q&A for you guys, off the back of me being very tired, very exhausted, but also feeling a little bit introspective, because this is the 99th episode of me doing these random, let's just talk to the guys type of things, and these are not the most structured shows, I know. Sometimes I do give a presentation or have a particular rant I want to get off my chest, or something I want to show you guys and speak about. But a lot of the time, these were just literally, let's just go and let's just talk to people, and let's just see what questions people have, and then let's see where we go with the conversation, where it leads us. No plan, no script, and that's pretty much what this is going to be tonight. I do have maybe a few things I kind of want to say, but I'm going to have to do it in very much a stream of consciousness type of way, which I'm pretty well known for doing that, usually on a Tuesday anyway, with a random rumination, so you're going to get something like that from me soon. But in the meantime, let me just quickly check the chat, see who we've got, catch up with you guys, and we'll crack on with the show. So Wendy's in the house. Good to see you, Wendy. Thanks for being here. We've got Geocentric 2.0. Thanks for being here. From the Southwest Virginia. Virginia, I hear, is a lovely place. My wife lived there for a year or two. Yeah, I hear good things. Amelia's here. Good to see you. We got Nope. We got Not a Consonant. What is up, my fellow understanders? I like that. Chris is here as well. We've got a fancy design from Sweden joining us. From all over the world, we've come to join Understanding Conspiracy and to listen to some random guy late into the night jabber on about nonsense. It's good to have you all here. No, I joke, guys. Really, I appreciate you being here. I really do. What else have we got? We got Sunny Ferriera. Thanks for being here. We got Jitch Moans. We've got Matt, some new faces. We've got some new faces here. We've got Cindy Shaw, some regular faces as well. And we got Susan Spoon. Hello, everyone. I'm not good with these chats. They tend to move too fast for me. Well, that's fine. Just hop in every now and then with a question if you have one, and I'll try my best to catch it. and reply. That's what this is for. It's for you guys who want to join me for these shows, just to ask me anything you want, or if there's something weighing heavy on you, if you want some advice about something, if you have researched a particular topic and you just need to get it off your chest about what you've discovered and you want to bounce an idea off me, that's what it's for. That's what this really is for, because that's what this channel is for. And I said I get a little bit introspective today. I do feel like doing that and kind of thinking back about what led me to be doing my almost 100th episode of the live Q&As, and not only that, I think I'm just about to hit the 130th episode of the Truth or Therapy sessions as well. And I was thinking back to when I kind of started this live Q&A thing. And I was just some 20-something. How old would I have been? I would have been about 22, 23-year-old, maybe, something like that. I'm 33 now. I started the channel in 2014. So yeah, I would have been like 22, round about 21 years old, sat in my mum and dad's shed, smoking, and just with a very low quality 480p web camera built into a very old laptop, which is now stolen and long gone into the ether, just in this shed chatting to a handful of strangers late into the night, But you can go and see those. They're on my channel. They're still there. If you go to my live tab on my channel, a lot of people don't even know that's there, actually. Someone left me a really funny comment today saying, I've just discovered the live tab on your channel, and there's an entire catalogue of things to look into I had no idea existed. And that's no joke. There are thousands of hours of live shows and interviews and collaborations in the live tab, like on my channel. It goes way back years, like 12 years. 12 years. This channel is 12 years old. And there was a 5-year hiatus there from 2018 to 2023, but I came back with a vengeance, and here I am, picking up where I left off. But the live Q&As and the Truth or Therapy sessions, they really do go back to the very beginning of this channel. And the format has not changed. The only things that have changed is the background, and the microphone's a bit better quality, and so is the camera. And that's it. I'm still doing the exact same thing 10 years from now, like later. And someone's joined my channel recently, and they've been commenting on these really old shows. They've been watching my entire back catalogue and going way, way back to like these first like live Q&A episode 3, which I don't even know what I called them then. And I'm looking at this young, beautiful version of myself that doesn't quite have as many wrinkles or grey hairs and still has this vague sense of odd optimism and self-sense of grandiosity and kind of like know-it-allism, which has been beaten out of me ever since. It's nice to watch and catch up, but I realise like I've been pretty consistent, and some of the things I was talking about then maybe not quite where my beliefs align now, but I'm pretty consistent. Like I was still thinking along the same lines, of what I am today. And things have changed. I've grown in many ways, and the truths have come out, and I think the truth movement has grown in many ways as well, and we've kind of changed along with it. And I was thinking about what my channel is, and what it's for, and what its purpose has been over like the last decade. Not that there was a particular purpose in the beginning anyway. I had a rough idea that I wanted to make the content I would like to see in the truther community. And I had this underlying idea that I was going to revolutionize the truther culture and make them not look and sound so crazy to normal people anymore. I've tried my best. I've spent 10 years trying to make the idea of conspiracy theory more palatable to a wider audience, shall we say. And I'm outnumbered. There's more crazies in this world than there are people like me, I suppose, trying to not seem so crazy and bury the crazy a little bit, publicly speaking. So maybe it was a fruitless effort, but I had some fun along the way doing it, don't get me wrong, But then I realized like my channel itself, it isn't one of those truther channels where I just go out exposing all the truths that are out there and talking about what symbols mean, and the occult stuff and how the secret societies work, and naming all the blood families and trailing it all back to to its evil origins. I'm more broad when I come to discussing all these topics, because it's kind of like, I've done all the research in these realms, and I've been doing it for so long. It's kind of, what more can I say that presentation hasn't already said, that you've probably all watched? And I realize there's a place in this community, or in a sense, I've somehow managed to create a place in the Truther community, because with my Telegram group as well, which is going quite strong now with 3,000 members. And it's kind of, I realize, well, I think all I've created really with Understanding Conspiracy is like a place for truthers to hang out. That's basically what it is. And this is what I do every week. What I'm actually doing here, I realize, is I'm kind of just coming and turning up and being here, so you guys can be here and do this in the chat and get in the comments and vent and rant and get it out. And in a way, I'm kind of like this. I'm like I try my best to articulate what we're all thinking, but often struggle to say, especially when it comes to trying to tell loved ones and friends and family, or I'm trying to articulate the frustration we have with being these people who have basically read too many books, seen too many things, flew too close to the sun, basically, and we've had ourselves shook pretty hard with the realities we've discovered and experiences we've had, that we can no longer basically easily just fit in with the rest of the people in society anymore. So we've inadvertently outcasted ourselves just by virtue of seeing too much stuff and being in the wrong place at the wrong time on the internet. And I've tried to like create a place where, or be a voice or something that can help people feel like, okay, there are other people like us, and we're not alone, as isolating as it can feel in our day to day. They are here, we are here, and we're not crazy, and we just need friends. We just need help. We just need people who understand, to talk to, like anyone does in life, for whatever reason. And it's easier to get along with people who have kind of gone through the same thing, right? And why is my phone beeping? Does that mean something terrible's happened? Nope, it's just spam. Okay. Right. I assume the chat's doing okay. I'm just trying to talk here. I'm not paying attention to the chat right now. I see the moderators are talking. Does something just get deleted? What's going on here? That is an odd question, isn't it? I don't know why they're asking that. No, I don't know my IQ. I don't know my IQ. I've never really thought about it. It's funny. I have thought about that recently. And I'm sorry to the moderators who removed that comment for whatever reason. Maybe I've missed some context as to why that's the case. But it's not about the person who asked the question, but it's about the point of IQ anyway. I actually have been thinking about this recently, not my own IQ specifically. I haven't done tests or anything. I don't know what my IQ is. I'm probably average, I imagine. I'm not very good at math. I hate math, whatever it is. But there's like a video going viral online right now where a PhD, I think he's Nigerian himself or African of some descent, but he's a PhD professor who has done his own study on the IQ of Nigerians and Africans, and he's tried to get a broad study done to recreate the studies done by like these other professors in the past, which basically claim that basically Africans have IQs very low on average. Not all of them, and the video's going viral because he himself, obviously being an African man, like he's there and he's done this, he's paid himself to do this entire study, properly, and he's there in this video saying like, I'm very disappointed with these results, and he's like heartbroken. And he even says, I did the test myself just to see if it was too hard, and it wasn't. Like, he's kind of like really, really like despairing over this idea that there is a vast IQ difference between races, and there's these differences which modernity doesn't allow for, because we're all equal and perfect, and there are no differences and in-group differences from the modernity left-wing perspective. And he's like, worldview is being shattered like massively. And look, personally, when it comes to like things like IQ tests, I think they're a bit vague, and I think intelligence can be gauged on many levels, not just simply just like how much stuff can you figure out or know. But I think there are levels of intelligence. I think there are different intelligences for different circumstances and different means and things like this. So I'm not looking to like label anybody stupid or anything like that. But it has been coming. It's been doing the rounds on the internet. If you haven't seen this, and like everybody and anybody who has a channel has like done a reference to this or talked about it. Yes, I have now. It's just it's the way it's framed from the guy who did it. The guy is really serious. And he's like, I am very disappointed with these results. Like, I did not think this would actually be the case. It was kind of like this wish that, like, oh, well, the original test was just done by racist white men who wanted to keep the black man down type of attitude, you know. But here he is, this guy who is of Nigerian descent himself, doing the test, recreating it himself under his circumstances and settings and getting the exact same results, you know. And it's just one of those, like, oh dear, what have we done? What are we going to do about this type of hopelessness? But there is actually a broader thing about this, and it's not just like targeting any particular race, but it's actually about society in general. And you go into these studies, and it turns out actually in most civilizations and cultures, most people have very low IQs. And it ranges from about 1 to 10% who have an above average IQ in every civilization. But those 10% can be equated to millions of people as opposed to tens of thousands for a civilization with only 1%. And those millions of people with a slightly above average IQ overall create civilizations that have edges over others, you know. So it can shift things dramatically, just a percent or two have higher intelligence within a civilization. But what we're learning is that it doesn't matter what civilization you come from, the majority of people are actually really dumb. Like, really dumb. And most of civilization really is being carried by a very few amount of people. And I'm not trying to be elitist. And this is not like, I didn't come up with these stats. You know what I mean? I'm not making this stuff up. This is just what the results are. This is just what people have learned. And I think, like, because of the internet and the spread of information, I think it's like it's all like settling in now, and the truth is kind of coming home to roost. And I suppose in a sense, perhaps this may explain why civilizations tend to fall into this situation where a very few people at the top rule over a mass amount of people underneath. Perhaps it has something to do with not simply just power and wealth, but intelligence may be a factor as well, for all we know. Correlation does not necessarily mean causation, so we can't jump to that conclusion. But yeah, that IQ question just sparked my own a memory of that situation, and it made me wonder, like, I wonder what my IQ is. Maybe I should do a test soon. I can't remember. When was the last time I did it? When did anybody do an IQ test? You know, in school they did these arbitrary random tests on you as you were aging through the years to see where you fit into certain sets and class systems within and hierarchies within the next school you would go to. Are you in the top set or the bottom set? You know what I mean? And it's kind of, you have to do these tests to gauge roughly where you are. And I was always like middling, slightly above average, but pretty much average wherever I went, you know. But I was, it wasn't that I was dumb or didn't understand what was going on. It's more that I wasn't interested in participating in the class half the time, and I was just sat in the back doodling. Because I'm an artist, I draw, that's what I like to do, and I just stuck to what I'm good at, rather than trying to bend myself backwards to, I don't know, get qualifications in things I'm not interested in. And when it comes to math, in the end of high school, I worked my ass off, cramming the night before and trying to remember everything, and I just about scraped a B. And he goes A, B, C, A being the best, F being a fail. You know, it's the American system. It's changed now. It's all done in numbers. Like, it's like 1 to something now with set systems in between. It's confusing. But when I was there, it was the ABC system, and I managed to just about get a B in maths. But up until that point, I was averaging in all the mock tests like D's and C's and E's. Like, I was failing pretty hard. And I by some miracle, I just scraped through with a middling, slightly above average result after working really hard. So I don't think I have a great intelligence or anything. I think I have good pattern recognition, which is why I'm an artist. And that's as far as it goes in terms of my own being honest with myself type of intelligence. And I often have plenty of moments where I'm like, what? I'm an idiot. Why did I do that? Like I'm not, I don't know. If that's what if you were asking me for that reason, like I don't think I'm a highly intelligent person. I really don't. But I think I'm pretty good at recognizing patterns, or at least drawing pretty patterns. I'm good at that, Anyway, back to the chat. Sorry, guys. Let's see what else is being said here. Society don't like to be at the forefront of anything. Just go along, get along. That's true. You get to hear this a lot at home, I'm guessing. What do I don't know. I don't really talk. I don't talk shop with the wife often. Because I'm too busy just living life, and like, it's funny because like I said, I told you this is a retrospective episode. It's off the cuff, but like when I'm here on camera with you guys, this is one thing. This is where I get to express the things that in my day-to-day life I tend to keep to myself, and I probably don't bring up and don't talk about with my loved ones, friends and family and everything else, and the public around me and the day-to-day people, because I've learned a long time ago, it's kind of, there's a time and a place to talk about these type of things, and not everybody wants to hear it, and if they want to know, they'll ask, so why bring it up? And I live by that with everything and everything I do, in a sense. If I get the hint that somebody might be interested, I will let them know that I know, and then they'll give me that look and that nod, and then maybe we'll talk about it one day. But they have to come to me first. But I try to consider what I do here now on YouTube. Like, this is work. This is what I do to earn money, feed the family, keep the roof over the head, that type of thing. And this is because I do it full time. I don't want to fall into that trap where I bring work home. Do you get what I mean? I managed a supermarket, and I often brought that work home with me as well, and it's not good, it's not healthy. It was easier to leave it there when I wasn't doing something like this where I'm self-employed and I have to generate the income myself. It's kind of, there's never a day off and there's no holiday when you're self-employed. So I've kind of taught myself to just look, when I'm in the front of the camera, when the laptop's on and I'm in the office and the light's on, it's understanding conspiracy time. It's work time. It's let's talk about the crazy things time. It's let's get these thoughts out time. When I step out the office, it's home. It's family. It's the day-to-day. It's the things that really matter to me, So I try and leave it and have that work-life balance, because you have to, Because the problem is with what I do, I mean, truly, this is not work for me. This is what I am. This is what I believe. This is my day-to-day philosophy. These are the things I need to be thinking about and ironing out in my own brain. And I can't not do it. But it took me years to find this way of not compartmentalizing, that's the wrong way of doing it, but more of like realizing the times and place and hierarchy of importance of things in life. And in the early days, it's hard not to see anything else but this stuff and to let it consume you. And I went through all that and I got through to the other side. And now it's kind of, I'm more effective at spreading truth when I've had some time off in between. And it's not like I can forget it. Of course I can't. But I can leave it here. You know what I mean? I've learned to be able to do that. And it's good to go out there and actually be in the world sometimes and go to the zoo like I did today. It really is. It's nice to just not have to look at my phone or answer comments or anything like that, and just enjoy the moment, enjoy the animals, enjoy the aviaries I was wandering around, enjoy the butterfly house. That was pretty cool, Enjoy looking at an elephant or a lion or trying to spot the tiger or something. It's just fun. And it's amazing to see the creation itself, and these amazing things that are out there, and to see all the people around just going their day to day, just trying to live the life and have fun and be in the moment themselves and make the best of what they can. And it's kind of, we're all just here living our life, regardless if there's some evil people out there who want to rule everything and claim dominion and control over us. It's kind of like, yeah, but they'll die. and someone else will just take their place and have their own agenda and plans, and it'll just go on forever while they're living in hell perpetually, killing each other and fighting for power and vying with each other all the time and never having a moment's peace. We on the ground, who are supposedly the cattle that they control, we're just having families, going to the zoo, eating ice cream, laughing, playing, enjoying our moment with our kids. So we're starting businesses, we're helping our communities, and we're just living in a society and making the best of what we can while the corrupt leaders and politicians do terrible things, and we move on and get on with it. And I think when you get out there and see that, it's less doom and gloom and more men may make plans, but God laughs. That realization, And I'm not saying we should just forget about all the horrors and what's being done to us, and we shouldn't push back or fight back or at least educate ourselves. But we also have to remember it's kind of like they don't really control everything. Like, they don't. We have free will at the end of the day. They can influence us to make bad choices, but it's ultimately up to us. And most people are just making the best choice they can for their friends and loved ones and themselves in the moment, given the circumstances that they've got. Like, not everyone's evil or really that dumb or stupid. And you can really see that when you just go out there in these environments. And again, that's an example of, I try my best to be out there with the people just to try and remember that it's not all bad. It's okay, fundamentally. And a lot of the stuff like we theorize and think about and worry over, and it really is internet stuff as well. And it's propaganda, news, doom loop stuff, which we should just switch off and not let control us. Fear really is the thing that gets us at the end of the day. And it's best not to pay attention to their stuff, because all they want to do is just fill you with fear, where then you become useless and easily malleable. So I try to avoid all that too, and just be here. And I don't know if that's beneficial to saving the world necessarily, probably not, but it certainly gives me a bit of peace for a short time while I'm in it. Take that for what you want, and whether or not you want to actually take that advice or not. We're talking about what did I miss here? We're talking about Gen Z now. It always ends up coming to a generational thing, doesn't it? Why do the generations hate each other? Well, they all deserve it, the evil bastards. Like, everyone hates each other. The internet is just a hotbed of generational hate lately. Have you noticed this? I've noticed this. I'm sure you've all noticed this now. And I like I said, I'm just like, look, guys, look, we're all in this shit together. Can we just stop fighting each other for a second and just realize people above us all have facilitated the circumstances which have caused this division. It's kind of, we can't be blaming each other holistically for the mistakes of past generations and generations current. It's kind of, when those generations were around in their time, they were doing what they thought was right and what they were told was right for their time from a point of ignorance. They weren't purposely trying to destroy the future for other generations. They may have, they actually did in many ways, but they didn't know they were doing that. Like, it's kind of, that's the problem. And look, we can either bitch and moan about what past generations have done to screw the future generations, or we as the future leaders and the people about to take over, as they all die and we inevitably become the older generations, which the younger generations are going to end up hating. We could stop the cycle of abuse now and hate now. We can basically say, look, let's just fix the damn thing and move on. Hopefully that's what's coming next. I hope so, if we have that much more time in the grand scheme of the biblical revelation narrative and the rest of it. Like, we'll see, eh? We'll see. My question is, says Annabelle Albion, what's your opinion on Michael Jackson and the PDF stuff? I mean, though, fair enough. Look, I don't know Michael Jackson. I never met the guy, so I can never really give any factual statements about his life ever, because everything we have about him was given to us through the mainstream media. realistically, and things he had said himself. And it seems like he may have been a part of the cabal through abuse. In his older age, he regretted it. He probably grew a conscience. He tried to expose the cabal in his This Is It tour, and with songs like They Don't Really Care About Us and all this type of stuff, and then they killed him because he became a liability rather than an asset. That tends to be what the situation is. He was just another industry entertainment tool who went rogue, so they killed him. And first they tarnished the character, and then they killed them. And it's likely maybe he did do something with children. We don't know. That might have been the thing they had on him that they were then trying to use against him. It could also be possible they simply just made it up to smear his image before killing him in the hopes that no one would ever listen to what that crazy pedophile had to say, after the fact. Because he did start saying things like, they're changing our history books, they're teaching kids lies in schools, none of it's true, it has to change, these people are evil. And then, he's dead not long after saying that kind of stuff. So I don't know, but I'm aware that outside influence and factors were involved, that this man was clearly abused, possibly mentally ill from it, and obviously the way he changed himself through plastic surgery as well, making himself look more and more like a pharaoh king of some kind. Like it was really odd stuff. But I think that's because he was deep in it all. He was in it all, And then at some point he wanted to get out, and you don't get to get out. That's the problem. You don't get out without your public image being destroyed, and possibly your life being taken as a result. But maybe he did that knowing, I don't care anymore. Tarnish my fame and image. I don't want it. Kill me if you must. Death is not the end. Maybe he found Christ for all I know. We don't know. I don't know the heart of a man. That's between God and themselves. I'm not looking to judge or cast aspersions, but it does seem like in the last moments of his life, he was trying to tell us something, and they got to him first. Or they got to him not long after he started telling us. So there we go. That seems to him. But was he innocent? Did he do bad things? I don't think many people can get that large and famous and that far in the industry without doing terrible things, unfortunately. Or letting people do terrible things to them. One way or the other. So who knows? Thank you for saying that out loud, Paul. It's the truth. They can't even do basic math to figure out that we cannot, at the current rate of travel, survive. I'm not sure what I said. Sorry. Much of Gen Alpha can't even spell their name. Well, some can, some can't. I'm not looking to cast all of generations with a broad brush. I'm really not. I am still impatiently waiting for part 2 of your awesome book. Did I mention impatiently? Lol, says Trace111. I'm sorry. Yeah, look, I too am feeling the pressure, believe me. It's coming up to 2 years now in July since the first book was published. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. When the first book came out, I stopped writing for a long time because I just needed to take a break. I was exhausted. And then I needed to promote the book, make edits to the book, make the final versions, do podcast circuits and the rest of it, and the book sold quite well. And then I fell into the little season stuff, which kind of distracted me away from that work for a long time. And it ended up on the back burner for ages. It really did. And I'm not happy about that because now I feel like I'm playing catch up with this pressure on me that people are waiting for this thing and relying on me. And it's rough, it's hard. But at the same time as that happening, I have a new child. I have a second child to also deal with. So that takes up my schedule is not what it used to be. I don't have as much time to write. But I have been scrimping and writing whenever I can with that pressure building up and writing pages at a time and getting it together without trying to rush the thing or just slap some nonsense together that's not worthy of publishing, you know. So it takes time, and I've spent the last 5 to 6 months really taking whatever I can to get the second book written, and I'm at about 60,000 words now, which is good because the first book was about 90. So 2/3 at least of the way to the first book, but it's it might end up longer with the way I'm going. I'm not going to lie, this could be 100,000 words, maybe 110. I'll try and trim it down so it's about the same size as the first book, though, in the editing process. But right now, I'm going through each continent. I've just got into India. I've done North America, South America, Europe, Africa. I'm in India now, and then there'll be Asia and Australia. But I've also already written the second half of the book, most of it, which is clown serial killers, the fear of clowns, the 2016 clown sightings, the multicolored collective paragraph is in there, chapter is in there as well. And all I've got left now is film and music and the entertainment industry segment of that ending. So it actually is almost there. I'm at the back end of finishing the book. I can feel it. I can taste it. But I don't want to rush, but I don't want to make you guys wait too long either. So I'm doing what I can when I can. I'm feeling the pressure, the fire under my feet, and it's making me get in gear and figure it out and work it out, you know. So it's on its way. It's on its way. I'm sorry you guys have had to wait so long. I really am. Like, I do feel guilty. I feel bad. I'm not going to lie. And I'm trying my best to make it up to you. And hopefully it lives up to the expectation when it comes out. Public school teachers are pathetic. Okay, fair enough. Thanks for saying that, Travelog. School is a waste of time, says Jeff Nugent. Most people are lemmings. They will go along with the dumbest shit just to fit in to be popular. Yeah, that's true. Connor would get if it was here. What did I miss? There's some inside joke going on here between my wife and Wendy that I'll ask her about it after the show and I'll find out what's going on. Time off, you say? Let's book a trip. Okay, I'm way behind on the chat. Let me catch up. Let me just catch this up. I am way behind. Like, I'm struggling to catch up with this. I'm from the conspiracy theory wiki, says Dan Raxler, and we had to remove theory from everything. They should now be called conspiracy cuddles to get everyone feeling warm about them. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the truth is the term conspiracy theory does come with a lot of weight. It was used as a smearing tactic originally to make anybody who questioned the official narrative out to be crazy. Oh, they're a conspiracy theorist. And I'm very much a believer that we can take those type of labels and 180 them. We can do that. We can take language and change its meaning. And rather than fear being labeled one, wear it as a badge of pride and say, yes, I am a conspiracy theorist, and why aren't you? Like, don't make it a point of shame, because that's their framing. Don't accept their framing. Okay? Because we have the truth. They don't. They're liars. So take their framing and turn it on themselves. So I'm not afraid to shy away from conspiracy theory and the idea, that concept. But I know many people want to try and say, well, let's make a new word. And it's kind of like, well, actually, all you're doing there is accepting their frame when you do that. Because you're accepting that you are a conspiracy theorist and are scared to be labeled that. Okay, because you know it comes along with being considered crazy. No, that by coming up with something else, you're kind of accepting the frame they've already given you that you're the crazy conspiracy theorist, you know, because you're playing with the language to counter what they're doing, as though what they do has any validity. Don't accept their framing. Just say, okay, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but everybody should be. And if you're not, well, you're dumb. Just turn it on them instead. And you believe it or not, that stuff, it works. And that's meme magic today. It works. So just do that. What do you think of the World Cup in the sense of it being a massive worldwide ritual? Says Yamiodi. That's an interesting concept. Now, I'm not a sports ball person, if you can't tell. I have never give two shits about football. Like, I do not care. Not even a little bit. Like, I have zero pride in any team involving a ball and a net or a hole or whatever it is. Okay, like I just don't care. And I don't have that tribal desire to join a particular clan and war against my neighboring city or village as though they're my sworn enemies and fight them because they came to my town and played my team and won and I'm angry about it or something. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't have that need to do that or that desire to do that. And I don't really get it. Like, I don't see the value in it or the fun in it. I just don't derive fun or joy from games like that. I don't invest in them in any emotional way, with any emotional weight whatsoever. I just don't. I'm incapable of doing it and always have been since being a child. And my dad, it's not through lack of trying. My dad is a dyed-in-the-wool, like, Burnley fan. We haven't lived in... He's never even lived in Burnley. It's weird. I don't know why. Some weird thing happened through geography as like moving around and stuff like this. But they're sworn enemies with like the neighbouring city, Blackburn, which again, he has no affiliation with. It's really odd. I don't know why. I still don't get it to this day because I've never lived there. It doesn't make any sense. They're originally from Newcastle, which is way across the other side of the country, like in the north east, It just doesn't... It boggles the mind, but he's like obsessed and his emotion is very much heavily invested with the victory or failure of that team. And as he grew up, he tried to dress me in the outfit, and the costume, which is what it feels like to me, and it just never came to fruition, much to his disappointment that his son was interested in football. I just couldn't do it. I just don't care. He took me to games and I watched and I just didn't get it. And eventually that just stopped. And all my friends played football, and in high school in Britain, you had all the boys, athletic boys who played football, and the girls would watch them from the sides, like, and obviously, I guess in some weird way, it's kind of like the popular guys played football, And I was playing music, man. I was drawing and painting. I didn't care about that kind of stuff. A lot of my friend group, whenever they were playing football, I would just be sat on the side. I wouldn't be joining in. I just wasn't interested. Just no, fine. You go do what you want to do, whatever. And that was me. So when it comes to things like the World Cup, which brings in all this energy, primarily, it's not obviously cut and dry, gendered. Primarily in the past, it was a way of draining a lot of male energy and passion towards something which is otherwise completely fucking useless. That's the way I felt about it. It's kind of like, if these men were just half as passionate about philosophy or art or creativity or building something or working on something else than they were about this stupid football match, the world would be a better place. Like, that energy would be better spent on something far more productive and useful to civilization and society. But it's bread and circus. These things are given to the public for them to, as an outlet of their angers and rage and passions, which they otherwise can't get out in daily life because of the restrictions of the laws of daily life and the monotony of daily life, and men stuck in this work cycle where they have no release in any way, and I think much of these events are designed as that release of energy for this male energy that people have, this tribal urge men have to come together collectively for a greater cause. And you can't have that because that's how revolutions begin in civilizations, and the elites know this. So they give them the Colosseum. They give them the violence and the competitive nature and the tribalism there, where it's, again, otherwise useless. Like, that's not where it should be. You know, we should be, as men of a nation, strong together, working together towards a common purpose of making our country and our nation safe and wonderful and better for our children and our families. And our tribe should be one another, you know, our kinsmen, our nation men, our people, you know. Every nation has a people, but we don't do that. We waste it on trivial crap like sports ball, and that's everywhere. And that's not defined by race, by the way, but you'll find predominantly it is a class thing as well. Give the poor people the games and they'll never revolt, you know. Give them their bread and circus and they'll never stand up or care, because they wasted that energy on the passion behind a useless game rather than towards us, their true enemy, who they should be tribalizing against, you know. And I just see it like that. I think it's a sad waste of energy and a despicable waste of money as well. Like, criminal, the amount of money involved in that. I just don't care about it. I just don't. Talk about Michael Jackson there. They can't spell because no one can teach them. Are we talking about kids again? Gen Z not being able to spell. Well, look, Gen Z, I think some of them are intelligent, some of them aren't. It's not just a full thing, and I think the way kids learn has changed dramatically. And I think a lot of children, there is the problem of kids being given iPads too early, therefore never needing to learn to write or read necessarily, because, well, you have auto read functions now which will read things for you and tell you what it says, you know. And the use of language has changed through technology, and the burden of that is, because they are children, the responsibility is on the parents to make sure your children can read and write. But in a sense, that just means my children who can read and write are going to have an insane advantage over everybody else who can't. So whatever, I guess, you know. Because in this world, if you can read and write, you can be unstoppable. You really can. Because that grasp of language and the ability to convey ideas clearly is what gets you ahead in this world. It really is. That's really where it all lies. That's where the power truly lies. The pen is mightier than the sword. It truly is. So if that means less competition for my children, that's how I'm going to try and see it. Okay, if it is as bad as everybody thinks is making it out to be. But I think it swings and roundabouts. I mean, Gen Beta and Gen Alpha, I mean, I think they're being raised by very conscious parents who are aware of the problems with technology and giving your children iPads and are going backwards the other way. I do think that's happening as well. So let's not just throw every generation out as all future generations are just completely dumb from now on. That's just not the case. And also, intelligence isn't always necessarily about can you recite certain things and remember certain facts that we've told you are true, and can you read and write necessarily. You can be intelligent emotionally and in other ways that don't involve this systematic system we have of symbols and signs and the rest of it. So let's not be too hasty and judgmental, but yes, reading and writing is certainly important. I think it's important personally. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm talking shit. Maybe. What do I know? What do I know? Shauna Rain, what up, Paul, my boy from Nebraska, and I watch for those and their foolish tactics, but then again, I too like talk with my hands. Yeah, I'm a the phrase is a gesticulator. I use my hands a lot when talking. I'm a gesticulator. I like that word. It's funny. I like to say funny sounding words a lot. I tone it down for you guys quite a lot, but at home, this sort of British humor comes out, which you guys don't see. And I play on words a lot to make the most innocent simple sounding things sound absolutely odd and ridiculous and possibly slightly like, I don't know, rude in a little bit, even though it's not, because you can do this. You can play with language, and we have a laugh. We have a laugh with it, we play with language, and the way we inflect certain words as well is something we do quite a lot. And we can make otherwise normal sounding phrases just sound odd to the ear by changing the way you would like add inflections onto things. Maybe I'll start bleeding into some of my talks with you guys. Maybe I will, just for fun. Why not? I've been doing this long enough. Like, spice things up a little bit, you know. Well, Mrs. Stobbs, we know you're doing your best. I've had many interactions with my family and others where I know internally these people should never have been parents. The pushback is that I am not a parent, but my family tells me I'd make a wonderful one, especially when you look at those still in line with the narrative being force-fed. Yeah. Yeah, we do our best with our kids. We do what we can. We do. We encourage learning every day. And being a parent is also probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do with as well. Because children hold up like a mirror to you. Okay. Because you're looking at little versions of yourself, basically. But they have like aspects of you. And they also have their own personality as well, mixed in with it, that is completely alien to you, and you have to learn to understand. And because all people do think differently, and you are basically, to them, for all intents and purposes, you're God. You are the only thing in their life they look to as a source of like inspiration and truth and honesty, you know. And you have this responsibility to keep them alive and the rest of it, but you also have this emotional attachment. It's kind of like, I would fucking kill people for you. I would die for you. You have this inbuilt like craziness about it as well, and it's hard to kind of manage all that and get straight and be normal while also trying to make your children fit in as much as they can with a crazy civilization as it is, you know. But these children, they test you in ways you just don't expect or anticipate until you're in it. Like, and the amount of like hidden, buried trauma you don't know you have from your own childhood that just suddenly comes out when you're like angry at your own child or just angry or frustrated, and you like speak to them in a way, and it's like, where did that come from? And it's kind of, I thought I was a chill guy until this tiny person just did this thing that made me explode for reasons I cannot understand. And it's kind of like, what do they know? Why I should know better. But then you realize, you start to then dig up all this stuff from your own past about how your own parents treated you, and then you have to confront all this crap as well while trying to raise children. Honestly, like, being a parent is just insane. But I think when you go through, like, I've been doing this for like 5 years now, or 4 years. So it's kind of, I say 5 years because I've got 2 children. One's 4 and one's 1. So collectively, I have 5 years worth of raising people, you know, experience. But it it's worth it, because you would never confront those things or learn that about yourself, and therefore grow as a person, if it wasn't for these miracles that you are called children, you know, that hold this thing up to you and make you have to confront your shortcomings, because you need to be your best for them. Like, you need to be there, and you need to work your own shit out, as not to unload it onto them like a lot of our own parents did. And that's why I'm confident, like, the newer generations of parents like were hyper conscious of the mistakes and flaws of past generations when it came to parenting. And it's not because we're better, it's because we have access to more information than they did now. The internet has really changed things, and it's caused us to not be able to be willfully ignorant about certain stuff. Sorry guys, I'll plug my webcam back in there. I think sometimes I plug it in and it doesn't charge for some reason. It just decides not to. And as a result, it's just turned itself off. So give me a second. I will get this fixed. And we'll be back on. And you'll be able to see me. So let me just quickly turn that off. Turn that on. Okay, while that's charging for a second, let's do this. This is going to be fun. I'm going to use a different webcam. So this one is just the built-in webcam on the computer. This might be really terrible quality, or it might be good. I don't know. It's been a while since I've used it, but here's the built-in webcam, and I'm gonna have to make that bigger. There we go. It's all right. It'll do. It passes. There you go. It'll do. That's fine for now until I can get this other thing back on. But yeah, children, yeah, they will show you things about yourself you had no idea existed, and that is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Like, yeah, but it's worth it. It's one of those. Kingdom Within, Tala here says, having 4 girls has taught me so much, especially patience and understanding them as females, and at times it has been truly difficult, but as years go by and they get older and learn more of you. Yeah. Like I think you cannot overstate how much the children are teaching you. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Like, we think we're teaching them, but you're not. Like, it's like before having kids, I didn't actually really know who I was. I thought I did. But I've seen sides of myself I do not like, and I did not know were there. That were deep within, that bubbled up to the surface only when put under the extreme stress and pressure which having children gives you. And I hope I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to work it all out. You know, it's scary. Honestly, it's scary. Amen, Paul. Going back to what I was saying earlier, I have full faith in you for the future. The vast majority of others, though, I don't know. It's shaky. Fair enough. I don't know what that was in reference to. I forgot already. I say a lot of stuff. I'm sorry. I get lost in the moment, but I'm sure it was something we said in the past. You may have asked me something. I must have responded. So many kids going to school still in nappies and can't even string a sentence together now, says Annabelle Albion. Well, maybe not so many. I think there's always been that. I think there will always be that too. You know, it varies. Some parents are better at raising children than others. That's just the way it is, you know. And what could we do about that, realistically? Sorry, guys. I'm just very quickly switching this back. There we go. And I'm going to quickly switch this camera back here. It should be working now, he says. Just quickly down. Unplug that. Plug that back in. I know I should probably just give it up already and say whatever, but it's kind of, hang on, this camera costs enough bloody money. I'm going to use the damn thing. You know? I get my damn money's worth, but it's pointing up at the ceiling right now. So let me just switch that down there and lock that back on. I'm not missing out on my 4K quality. You know what I mean? Like, let me put that back. Minimize this. We're back. We're back in full HD quality, guys. We're on it, okay? You can't have anything less these days, or people will not subscribe and they'll leave or comment or something. I don't know. We've got the wide-angled view going on there. Got the portrait I drew of my wife years ago there. Let's just zoom this back in. There we go. And we are back. Shouldn't have that problem again. It says it's charging now. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Get them in. Throw them in. What have you been researching recently? What's been getting under your skin? What are you worried about? You know, what's been on your mind more so? I'm going to turn this fan on because it's very hot as well. There we go. So I might get a bit of a wind effect going on while we're talking. Wow, thank you for being so honest. Just your sharing is ministering to me that I'm not alone in this shocking self-discovery through parenting. Yeah. It's. I'm sure every parent who's consciously been thinking about what's been going on around them has been going through the same thing. I don't think this is a unique experience whatsoever. There was an old saying that you needed to have 10 children just to make sure one of them looked after you when you were old. That's got to be the result of the older generation's style of parenting. Maybe if you just didn't abuse those 10 children, they would all want to be there for you when you're older. But I think what classed as abuse then is not what we would call abuse today. I don't think a lot of parents realized they were mentally scarring their children with their parenting styles. They were just doing what they thought was normal, not realizing it's highly traumatic for a developing brain. I feel like we have more knowledge now of what to do and not to do, and also the power of simply taking responsibility and apologizing to our children as human beings rather than seeing ourselves as above them, unworthy of that kind of treatment because what we say goes and we are correct because we're the adults. Children should be seen and not heard type of attitudes. I mean, those lead to, well, you didn't want to listen to me when I was a child. Why should I want to listen to you as an adult? It's kind of these things echo into the future and you have to be careful. Like, they're not idiots. Children are not stupid. They don't, they're not. Like, they might not remember the details, but they'll remember how you made them feel. That's what they'll remember. And, it's okay to be mad. It's not okay to not say sorry. Because kids can understand sorry. Kids are sorry all the time. Kids make mistakes all the time. And they need to know that you do too. That's one thing I'm realizing. And they can forgive somebody who they know isn't perfect and was trying their best. It's hard to forgive somebody who wasn't perfect and could never admit it. Like, it's different. Like, it's the difference between a narcissist and a normal person, to be honest. And yeah, we're all dealing with that now, aren't we? The rise of the narcissistic personality disorder, the no contact phenomena, which again, unfortunately, I think a lot of the no contact stuff is valid. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. Maybe you yourself have had children go no contact with you and you want to just par it off as like, oh, well, they've just watched some stupid videos online and they're being over dramatic. It's like, no, right there, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. They're not being over dramatic. You're just not willing to own up and accept your own mistakes sometimes. That's not always the case. I think maybe there's the one extreme case where the child is the narcissistic abuser playing victim. Perhaps that does happen, but that's not the norm. That's an exception. Most people who choose to go no contact with their parents, it's not the child's fault. Okay? 99.99% recurring of the time. It's not the child's fault that they have chosen to cut their parents out of their life. Okay? It's self-reflection time. It's time to look in the mirror and say, maybe I did something. But it seems like, unfortunately, there is a large portion of the older generations that are incapable of doing that. And I wouldn't be saying this if I hadn't seen a lot of this firsthand with my own family, and things going on. Like, with it, honestly, like, you watch it and you see that some parents, the way they treat their children, it beggars belief. Like, I've seen it, and it confuses me and gets me angry. And it's kind of, you have these thoughts like, what kind of parent would say that to the child? As a parent, I have these thoughts, and it's kind of like, I couldn't imagine it. And I think it's because perhaps maybe a lot of, and this is not nice to hear, don't get me wrong, and maybe I think in some cases, perhaps more than we would like to admit, I think many people had children who didn't want them in the past. And they made sure passive aggressively their child knew that. And that's where you get this no contact thing coming. A lot of the time. And it's a sad state of affairs all around, really. Anyway, Tala's sent $50. Well, that's very generous. Thank you, Tala. I really appreciate that. I know this isn't much, but I feel moved to give today, and when I get the discernment, I must act. So anyway, thank you for all you've done, Brother Paul. Not only to spread awareness and truth, but most importantly of the truth of Jesus Christ. Much love, brother. Well, thanks, Tala. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I any financial help I can get, I will take. I'm not too proud to say I need help when I need help, and I always need help, to be honest. I can't. It's hard, it's hard. I have good months, I have better months, and sometimes a lot of it's like, oh no, this is bad. This is going a bad way. But God always provides. And thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Sorry, I've heard that. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I know this. Have you heard of exploding head syndrome, says Lamb Jewelers. I have experienced this many times, and it scared the hell out of me at first. Bang in the head, but then like a demonic scream later. Yes, I have it. I've had them many times, which made me look into what the hell this is. And yeah, there is a thing called exploding head syndrome. And you could just be led there at night, peacefully lying in bed. And then suddenly you hear this loud, rattling, metallic, pinging noise that kind of rings out. And it's like an explosion has just happened of like alien form. It's an electrical charged type explosion of futuristic proportions and sound effect, and it's in here, and you feel this fuzzy like wave as it happens, like an implosion within your own skull, and it radiates out, and it's like this burst of energy. It's like your third eye has just cracked or something. You're like this feeling hits you, and but it's not like you're actually like having a spiritual experience or see anything or trippy. It's just this sound and this feeling, this intense paralysis type feeling, and then it's gone. It's just gone. That's it. It's like it's over, and you wake and you open your eyes like, what was that? Because a lot of it as well, sometimes it sounds like it happened outside of you, like outside your window, something just blew up, but it was all in here. Like, and it's this auditory visual experience. Because I also get it with a flash. I see a flash of light when it happens, like not in my eyes, like in the brain, like whiteness, light, bright white light with the noise. And it happens so rarely, it's like I couldn't tell you with any determining frequency when or how it happens, but it does happen to me, and it has happened more than 3 times at least in my life. And I always put it down to that I get migraines. Like I do get migraines, and have done for a while, and I'm very light sensitive. Too much light for too long will give me a headache and make me sick. Particularly blue light. I'm okay with like the red light filters and things like this. But if it's a particularly bright sunny day and the clouds have that blanket thing going on, where it's like a white veil over everything, and it's not quite clear blue sky, so all the light gets magnified in like a whiteness type of stuff, that can really start to get to me, like, and I can get sick by the end of the day, like migraines by the end of the day. So I always thought it was some kind of psychological built-in nerve damage that causes the migraines, linked with this, that can occasionally just cause this problem. I don't know, but it's weird, and maybe there is something spiritual behind it. I have no idea. I don't think anyone really knows. Just like we don't really understand dreams necessarily, and it's one of these phenomena that just does happen. And when it does happen, it's like profoundly weird. I can't, I don't know. Let me know if you've ever experienced it before. Like, and what you think it is, because I don't know. I don't know I don't know what purpose it serves many fires. I have no idea. But it happens. Maybe it's like I can just speculate wildly with you if you want to. I can see, but like maybe it is something spiritually physical happened. Maybe the pineal gland or whatever that thing is. Maybe something did happen with that. Maybe it is. Maybe it like had a moment where it like spasmed and tried to decalcify or something, and it creates this shock effect and sound in your head or something. Maybe that happened. I don't know. Maybe it's demons. Maybe it's demons, bro. Maybe they are trying to get in, and maybe they hit the Holy Spirit shield and bounced off, and it made this pinging thing happen. There's just throwing random stuff at the wall here, seeing what sticks. Maybe I'm just brain damaged. Maybe a bunch of synapses just misfired all at once and created an echo effect of lightning just exploding in the brain, and before it reset and got back to normal again. Maybe I'm gonna have a stroke. I don't know what it is. I couldn't say. It seems benign, like it's not going to kill me. It seems harmless enough after the fact. It's just something the body does for reasons undefined and unknowable. But I am also horrified and intrigued at the same time about the concept. Like, I have no idea. It's a weird one. Let me know your theories. What do you think it is? Because I just don't know. Magnesium is good for migraines, Paul, says Epistles Matthew. It's funny you mention magnesium, because the whole house is currently on magnesium, except me. I'm still doing the wormwood clove parasite cleanse. I've just had my 15 days off, and I'm going back on it again for 15 days to try and get those eggs, So I don't know. I'm feeling better. I'm starting to feel a lot more energy coming back into my life, to be honest, as I'm going through the process. But my wife started taking magnesium, and my son started taking magnesium as well, and it seems to be helping with her sleep a lot, getting the sleep cycle back on. She's always struggled with getting to sleep and insomnia. It really seems to be helping with that. And same for my son. He struggles to get to sleep in the evening, but he seems to be getting better. And also, he just seems to be... Sometimes his brain goes a lot faster than his mouth can process. And you can tell. And I think the magnesium is helping him kind of regulate his moods and thoughts smoother. I think it is happening. And also bags under his eyes. Like, not bags, discoloration, like purpleness under the eyes. That seems to be getting a little bit better as well, to be honest. So we're wondering if it has something to do with the deficiency in that, but it's helping. It's helping, and magnesium's an interesting one. But there are lots of different types of magnesium. It can get really complicated which one you specifically need. So I'm not recommending people just go out there and take any kind of magnesium, and it might help. Honestly, there's like 7 different kinds of magnesium, and you need to go and research them thoroughly before you start doing that kind of stuff. Chinky Eddie says, is that what is that your name? Chinky Eddies. Chinky Eds. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, but he says, I think it's spiritual, and maybe it's when they're screwing with the timeline or frequencies. Lindsay, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's when we switch timelines through the Mandela effect. Maybe that's us physically recognizing a change that they've done to physical reality or something like that. When they update the code or the system and insert something that wasn't there before, we hear the ping. It echoes through us as a nodal point for energy. I have no idea. But it's fun to speculate on this. How do you take the wormwood supplements? Are you fasting at the same time, etc.? Says Finley Walker. I mean, the first time I did it, yes, I was heavily stringent about it, I was doing it during an intermittent fasting period. I would stop eating at 6 p.m. I wouldn't eat again till at least midday, often later. So I was doing a lot of heavy, long intermittent fasting in between, one meal a day, trying to keep it as healthy as I possibly can, and cutting out sugar, all that kind of stuff, while doing the full protocol, making sure to take a binder like charcoal every so often just to pick up all the crap and make sure it doesn't stay around and get the toxins out. And you just do the protocol. It's like 30 days with a 15-day break in the middle, so it's 45 days. And you take a certain amount for 15, take a break, take the rest. It's like 2 capsules a day or something like this. And then also make sure it helps to get like a cleanser, something to keep things moving, so you're getting the stuff out of your system as well. And that's it. And the first time I did it, I did all the fasting stuff. This time round, because I've already done it not that long ago, this is more like a top-up thing, just keeping the system relatively clear as best I can. So I'm not as heavy on the fasting as I was the first time, and I'm not really watching my sugar intake much more than usual. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that's counterintuitive. Maybe I'm being stupid. But I feel like I'm still getting results either way, because I think even if there's sugar in your body and the parasites start eating it, if you've mixed it with wormwood, clove, garlic extract, and the rest of it, even the sugar tastes foul and it's horrible and poison to them. And it's kind of, when you take things like this, which I'm not allowed to say, when you take stuff like this, you take it with sugar lumps. And that's because the sugar brings the parasites to it as bait, but then they eat it and get poisoned and the parasites die. So I'm kind of testing that principle now, to be honest. I'm using myself as a guinea pig, and I'm seeing, could I still just eat sugar in between and no, just not really watch my diet as much as I probably should be, and still do these cleanses, and will it still get results? And I'm gonna find out, and it's not like a big deal to me or anything. Like, this is just, like I said, another just keeping it up type of thing as a regular thing, just to be safe. But I did the hardcore stuff originally, about 6 to 7, 8 months ago, So this again is just me keeping up with it. Look into it yourself, though. There's loads of research and ways people do these things. Shelley Grace, dang it, bro, not again. I just switched timelines a few days ago. Do you get a lot of deja vu? What do you make of it? Says Scott Brown. Yeah, same. I do get a lot of that stuff. Way often than I would like to get it. It's kind of freaky, the whole deja vu stuff. And I'm just looking here, and damn 4K. Okay, that is a bright grey hair right in the middle of my mustache that was not there yesterday. I know that because I plucked one out. I plucked a big grey hair from here a week ago, because even the wife was pointing it out. It says it's really obvious, you can see it, and now another one's become really obvious. So I'm turning grey, guys. I'm like, it's happening. Maybe it's the parasite cleanse. I don't know. It's happening, and I'm seeing it in real time. It's just, yeah, whatever. What was I even saying? Who cares? Let's just carry on. Let's see what's going on here. Deja vu. That's it. I do get deja vu a lot. I do. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just more spiritual than most people. Maybe I'm just naturally a spiritual person, and I get the migraines and the exploding head syndrome and the deja vu and the dreams, because I'm just more spiritually connected to the whatever it is, I don't know. Probably not. Maybe it's just brain damage. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I'm just severely brain damaged from all the Diet Coke I chugged down as a fat teenager. Maybe that's all it is, Zinc helps with the grey. Like, I'm not looking for solutions. I'm not actually bothered about turning grey. I'm looking forward to it, because then people will stop calling me ginger, because the beard is obviously quite orange compared to the rest of my body. So once this turns white, everyone will start calling me blonde again, because that's what I am. Like, I'm like a golden blonde color on top with white eyelashes and eyebrows, and all my hair on my body is white when you actually look at it. But this, because it's slightly orange, everyone calls me ginger. So when this turns white, I'll be thankful for it. In fact, maybe we'll see a change. Probably not, though. I know what the internet's like, so one can dream, right? A man can dream, can he not? My grandmum said if you pluck one grey hair, about 30 more will replace it. It seems like that's God's sense of humor right there, isn't it? Um, I am a 93 baby like you, Paul. I get sporadic grays popping up as well. I'm older than you, bro. I'm 92. Well, yeah, I was born in 1992, so I've got a year on you yet. So look at this. Get a look at your future. This is it. I bet I get more deja vu late at night. A friend told me she thought deja vu was because you're on the right track in the things supposed to be happening in your life. Again, I don't know about all that. I don't know if any of that's true whatsoever. Like, oh, you get more deja vu because you're doing what you're supposed to be, and you're on the track that's already predetermined for you, and you're just getting feedback. Maybe, but we just don't know that kind of stuff, do we? We just don't know. An old farmer friend once told me age is the fairest thing in the world. It doesn't matter what colour you are, how rich you are, how smart you are. Every year, everyone gets another day older. That's an interesting. And there isn't a damn thing anyone can do about it. It's the great equalizer, in a sense, because this is the problem of the world is evil. And evil is obsessed with living forever. Because they don't want to lose the power they spent their entire life killing and maiming and stealing and destroying to accrue. And I think as they get older, they start to realize how utterly pointless and fruitless all that was, and how it did not make them any happier in their life lived at all. So their only hope at any chance of happiness in their own perception is, well, I need to live forever so I never lose this stuff. And then maybe it will mean something, because it will make me a god among men, and then I'll have the ultimate control. And they always after more mentality. But thankfully, God put a stopper on everybody. It's like, yeah, you can try your best, but you're going to die eventually, and it'll all equate to nothing. And in a few generations' time, maybe you'll be remembered in some history book, but most people will forget you. And in a sense, as horrible from a human perspective, especially if you don't have God, that sounds, from a godly perspective, from like an outside looking in type of thing, it's kind of like, thank God that happens, or the world would be run by immortal despot tyrants and everybody would be a slave. It would be awful. But that great equalizer, the fact that everyone will die, means these people who are in control now with their agendas may never live to see them come to fruition. And the work they put in may be forgotten, or no one can replace them, and then the plan fails, and that's the point, isn't it? The 1% is always changing. The top elites, as we call them, which they're not really, they don't get to live forever. They're not immortal. The one thing that is the spirits that run through these families, the spirits that work with these societies. They are immortal. They have been here for thousands of years, the Nephilim, and the Watchers, the fallen ones that work with them. And they are the immortal contingent that works throughout. But even they know where the true power and dominion lies, and it's not with them, it's with Jesus Christ and with God. And even they can't move without his permission, because they're already a defeated enemy. So they're stuck in a really weird place, and it just makes the works of man below, thinking they have this, well, I'm going to live forever and I'm going to beat God. It's just all the more pathetic to watch, and sad and just weird, and come on, man, just drop it already, okay? Just repent. He forgives you. It's okay. Move on. You can only have pity for them in the end. That's kind of how I'm starting to feel about it all. Does this also apply to women? Sorry, ladies, I don't think blonde hair and dark brown eyebrows are attractive in my opinion. I don't know what that is. I don't know why you're talking about that. How old did you say you are? I'm between the ages of 32 and 34 currently. I'm not allowed to say, because someone will clip it and use it against me in some way and claim something. But yeah, I was born in 92. What are your thoughts on Izzy Griffin? Loved your appearances on his Patreon. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a down to earth, relatively down to earth guy. I know he's in the music scene himself, and he's very knowledgeable on like that scene and the people and actors and plays involved. Way more than I am. I'm very out of touch with like anything to do with like the music industry, really, and the up and comers and the players in the game, you know, and the things they got up to. And I see his clips every now and then. I think he knows a lot of information, like, and I think he's hits a lot of great points. I'm not so much in agreement with the Gnostic stuff he kind of leans into more heavily. Um, but obviously he's not a Christian, and I wouldn't expect anything else because of that. But the conversations I did have with him were pretty cordial, a pretty good back and forth. I thought it was very productive. And yeah, he's a knowledgeable guy, honestly, and I wish him all the best. That's all I can really say about him. And maybe we'll connect again one day and have another talk. Who knows? Don't shout me out, Paul. Ah, sorry. I won't. I won't. Okay, I'll stop. I'll remember that. Um, time to dye your hair blonde and join the club. Who's dyeing what? Like, I'm not dyeing my hair. No way. Um, if I started peroxiding my hair, I might lose what little I have left, to be honest. Like, I mean, I have a pretty pronounced widow's peak. But at the same time, you can look back at like pictures of me as a teenager, and it's kind of always been like this. I don't think it's moved. I think I've just naturally always had this pointy back thing, big forehead thing going on. But as I get older, I'm looking at it now, thinking like, was it always like that, or am I just remembering things wrong? Am I losing it? And then I look at like people who through my life who have gone bald, and it's like, no, 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 no. I would have gone bald already if I was going to go bald, because it usually happens in like the early 20s, mid 20s, and I've made it to 33 now, and it hasn't happened yet, so I don't think it is going to happen. Like, I'm having this cope thing going on through my head, like trying to figure out if it's going to happen, if it isn't going to happen, and you know, realistically, as I get older, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'm going to stick by the truth that shaved is a choice. So I'm probably going to shave it all off if it gets that bad, and I'm going to own it. You know, I'm going to own it. Can anyone else hear the neck crunching when they move? No, Shelly, that's just you. You need to go see a doctor or a chiropractor. I am 52, but I have stopped reading the obituaries of those in my life who have passed. I don't want to know about any more Masons and Jesters, and fair enough. Got that Vegeta Widow Peak. Yeah. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z a lot as a kid. Yeah, I do. I do. You're right. I got some stupid memes I want to make one day. Don't we all? I'm cracking out some memes all the time. You guys see my thumbnails sometimes. Like a lot of these memes are mine. You don't realize it. Like I'm not taking credit. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but a lot of the things you see, I've made up myself, and I'm quite proud of some of them. I am. But that's the thing about memeing. You can't own them. You got to just put them out into the world and let them go. You know, it's like a butterfly, isn't it? It dies if you hold on to it and claim ownership. You got to let it go. You know, and it might die anyway. But in that time it is alive, how glorious it was. That's how we need to treat memes. Bro, my brother is strawberry blonde. I bet it's gonna happen. Can I ask if you recall where you got the pure gum of turpentine? I can't remember. Online somewhere. There's lots of shops that do sell it on the internet. That's your best place to get it from, to be honest. Guerrilla Contracting, so glad to be watching you live from Kentucky. Your podcasts are enjoyed by our 8-child family. It has brought us all closer to God. Well, that's amazing. Hello to the 8-child family there from Guerrilla Contracting. I'm glad you like my work. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, and it's incredible what we've done here. I said I'll get in retrospective. I get a bit of a back and forth. We've had some fun. We've had a conversation, which is what we enjoy doing. But maybe I'm going to retreat for a second. I'm going to just play a song quickly for you guys, get some water, and I'll start talking my way through some of my thoughts on where we've come from, how things have changed, and where the truth of movement's going and stuff like this. So I'm going to play a song from my new album, Stupid Prizes. There is a new song coming out soon. I don't know if I can add it to the album. I probably will just add it to the album, to be honest, if I can. Or maybe it'll be a single release. But there is a new song coming out in a couple of weeks, which you guys will hear, which I'm working on. And lots of other music. I'm always I'm getting quite musically minded again. I've always got little tunes and melodies running through my mind that I try and write down and record on my phone so I don't forget, and then make something out of it when I get a chance. And I try and just let the lyrics flow and stuff. And this album, a lot of it is just that, but there's also a story behind the album. It was created throughout the years, really. It kind of all started in 2011. It's when these things were first recorded. I think the piano piece was recorded in 2011 on here. But then a lot of it was recorded from that point onwards over like 2-3 year gaps. And I just kind of put it all together, with Living Water being the most recent recording, which was recorded very recently. So I'll play Living Water for you guys, and then I'll head back and we'll close out this show for the last half hour with me just rambling on, as I tend to do. So let me just quickly put my headphones in so this doesn't echo back. Otherwise we will have a problem. There you go, that's connected. And yeah, I'll play from the album Stupid Prizes. This one's called Living Water. And I will be back not that long, guys, and we'll close out the show. 1, 2, 3, 4. My back is stabbed enough, oh, could I take a break? This world is draining me a glass of live. Okay, well, I completely balls that up. Let's try this again. Let's just turn that off. Let's pull it up. Pull it up. Let's try this again. Living Water. Here we go. My back is stabbed enough, oh, could I take a break? This world is draining me a glass of living water, please. My eyes are aching now, oh, could you take this beam? The abyss stood back and laughed. I remember all your past. I sing to heaven, please deliver me. The price is heavy, I heard you paid the levy. I sing for peace, now don't look down on me. Can't a man dream? That's a lovely building, oh, is it built on feelings? When it falls, you can crawl, grab his hem and don't let go. I see on the telly, the gospel is the belly, forever feeling empty, the bread of life is always free. Well, I sing to heaven, oh, please deliver me. The price is heavy, I heard you paid the levy. Well, sing for peace now, don't look down on me. Can't a man dream? Carry this for me. Ease my knees. Unburden me, please, Lord, please. My back is stabbed enough, oh, could I take a break? This world is draining me, a glass of living water, please. My eyes are aching now, oh, could you take this beam? The abyss stood back and laughed, I remember all your past. I sing to heaven, oh, please deliver me. The price is heavy, I heard you paid the levy. Well, I sing for peace now, don't look down on me. I need to sleep, can't I dream? Okay, and we're back. Yeah, Living Waters, go check that out. You can listen to it on Spotify, iTunes. I don't know. The distributor put it out everywhere, wherever music goes. So go look for it. I'm sure you'll find it if you really want to. But yeah, guys, I'm back now. Let's see what's going on. My friend and I make a solution of water, Dawn dish soap, tiny drop, tea tree essential oil, and maybe some lemon balm, but mainly tea tree. It's very potent and repels ticks from us and my dogs. Interesting, yeah. So I heard there's a tick epidemic going on in America right now. I'm sorry, guys. We don't really have ticks here in the UK so much. It's not really a major issue for us as much as it is in America, I believe. But I'm not saying we don't get ticks in the UK. But I don't really feel like it's a huge major issue here. It's not something I ever hear anybody I've ever heard of having a problem with here. It's rarely brought up, to be honest, or talked about. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, and it feels like Bill Gates may be the the culprit for this one. What is it? People are leaving boxes of ticks lying in fields. I've heard that one before, which I saw someone mention as well. A very dreamy music, Paul. I find you have some inspiration from that one guy you always used to play, but I forget the name. Judah Sargent. Yeah. I can't play his music anymore because it now copyright strikes me every time I do. Something's changed with this distributor, and it's got to a point now where it's harder for I can't do anything about it. With my own music, I can put it on a allow list so I don't get copyright strikes for playing my own music. Believe it or not, that's what happens. And every time I end a show, I have to put the URL into my distributors list and say the song. And then I'm going to get a copyright strike, which I then have to dispute through YouTube. And then the next day, the strike gets lifted because I put it on the allow list. But I can't do that with Judah, unfortunately. But yeah, his music's amazing. I still like Judah Sargent's music. He's just released a new song as well, and he's got some more things in the work, I'm sure. And we still kind of talking back and forth and share some inspiration. I really liked his songs. I think the inspiration for my music, I do take from a lot of people and a lot of things. Music I've liked to listen to over the years, and I like bluegrass. It's the sound of bluegrass. I don't know why. I like blues, jazz, soul, funk type stuff as well. But I'm also kind of heavily into like acoustic solo things and finger picking styles, and it's all kind of just blended into what I do, in a sense. You can hear it. You can hear it. There's been a lot of inspiration over the years, like a lot of different music, to be honest, and that I can't really pinpoint exactly, but I know if you listen to like my playlist on Spotify of the music I do listen to, you could very quickly start to hear where my style is. It's like a select of a lot of things I've heard over the years, and I'm okay with that. Judah may have influenced me in some way. That wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. I like it when you say, "That's a lovely building." That's a lovely building. Yeah, I like that bit too. I try and throw in like English mannerisms into the lyrics for fun, like the word "lovely." Yeah, I don't, um, it just hits the ear nice, doesn't it? I don't know what it is about it, and it makes me laugh. I think it's funny. That's pretty much. You have to understand if why I do what I do most of the time is for fun, especially when it comes to my arts. Okay, most of the artistic choices you hear me make in whatever it is, if you're ever wondering why I did it that way, for fun. That's usually the answer. And the way I sung that line is very like okay, I don't know if you guys have you ever heard of a band called Cornbread Red? Okay. They do bluegrass covers of albums. And they did a Nickelback cover of Nickelback's album, okay? And that has probably inspired me more than most other well-known artists and probably better musicians have. Just because of the inflections he put singing these Nickelback songs. It's better than the Nickelback album itself, because I'm not really a fan of Nickelback. But the way he sings How You Remind Me in this bluegrass style with this band, the type of inflection you heard me say that it's a lovely building in that song is probably directly inspired by that album. Okay, so it's called, the album is called Picking on Nickelback, all right, because it's finger picking on a banjo and stuff. So go and find that if you've never heard it before. Picking on Nickelback by Cornbread Red, and listen to the album. And I could listen to the whole thing just on repeat all day, and I did for many years, and I still could right now if I wanted to. It's good. It's good. It's that creativity that I love so much, where someone can take their own way of doing things and just blend it with somebody else's thing and just turn it into something completely new, something completely different. And it otherwise made me enjoy a Nickelback song, which I've never done up until that point. So just letting you know, like I heard the way I sing it, and I know where that came from. Like, it's up here. It's definitely from them. Um, when I saw the cat and dog you drew, I was blown away. Yeah, that was a commission. Brindle was the dog who had sadly passed away, and she wanted a portrait drawn by me. So I did do that. Yeah, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't know. Maybe I can find it for you and show you. It's my video. I'm sure I won't. If I get a strike, I'll say no. Screw you. It's mine. I'm allowed to do what I want with it. You know. But yeah, it's. I uploaded it to the Understanding Creativity channel, if I remember correctly. Understanding Creativity. Let's just get it up. And if you guys don't know, I do have another channel all about art, Understanding Creativity. Let's just get this up. I'll share the screen with you guys. He says, unable to find where the screen is. There it is. So this is my other channel, my sister channel, Understanding Creativity. I haven't posted on there in a while. I've had a bit of a problem. I'm shifting focus to this channel for a bit, and also trying to get some stuff sorted out behind the scenes as well. And I probably will pick this back up once the book is published, to be honest, and when I have more spare time. But there are interviews on there, things you can go and check out. We get into the occult stuff as well. But I do upload my own artwork as well. And this is the one where I was commissioned. The cat was called Sir Beef Wellington, and the dog was called Brindle. And I'll play it for you guys so you can see it. But here it is. I'm what you call a pencil scratcher, you're wondering. Just to give you a bit of a context for what you're watching here. I'm very much a all over the place type of do it as I go type of drawer. I do the rough outline, very faint, and then I just scratch away until something close to what I think it should look like comes out. This took 3 days to do. So this is 3 days sped up of like a few 2 to 3 hour sessions all put together. And the final, you can't really see much of the details in the video, but I do a high definition close up photograph at the end that kind of shows the whisker details and the finer shading details you just can't really see in this low quality grain. But yeah, this was commissioned. She did pay for this. And I sent her a larger A3 print as well. But that was the final product there. And yeah, she was happy with it, and I enjoyed doing it. And if you're interested, you can always email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com, and I could do that for you too. Okay, you can commission me to do artwork, guys. Believe it or not, it's something I offer. It is a real service I can offer for you. So let me just quickly close this because it's playing music in the background. There we go. Yeah, so if you're interested, I can draw. Who knew? You know that my art degree finally came in use for something in the end. It wasn't a complete waste of money and got me into complete debt for no reason. You know? So if you would like a portrait or something drawing in particular, I don't do like imaginative stuff. Don't ask me to make stuff up for you, okay? I am a photorealistic copier. I'm a human photocopier. So if you have a picture you really like, okay, or a series of pictures of like animals, your pets, those are two different pictures you saw I put together and made one composition out of the cat and the dog. There was no picture of them together like that in real life. I made that, so I can do that kind of stuff for you, okay? Let me know and I'll do the portrait for you. I'll give you a drawing, a Paul Stobbs original. I'll sign the back of it so you can keep hold of it, and there you go. So that's something I do. Yeah. You have the touch of arts. It's a God-given gift. My respects, my good sir, says Sean. Well, thank you. Look, to be honest, like it's not something I want. I don't brag about it because it's not something I feel like I ever learnt to do. Again, I know it might sound like a humble brag. I'm really not trying to be that guy. I'm just trying to explain something about creativity to people who might not otherwise understand. All right. And again, people might not like this. You could learn to draw and take classes, and it could take years, and you can learn all the techniques, and you can just do it, and you might become a really good technical proficient drawer, okay, and you'll be able to, or painter, or whatever it is. That can happen, okay, and you could take all years of your life to master the arts and the skill and practice. I didn't. I never learned to do any of it. I just can. And I think that's a distinction that has to be made about creative people. Either you have it or you don't. And that's just the way it is. And there was never a time in my life where somebody taught me to draw or to paint or anything like that. You know, the basics of creativity, it was just there as a child. My parents could see it. I was always drawing. I loved art. I couldn't stop trying to draw everything around me. And it just came naturally. Like, obviously, it does improve with time and practice, but the base skill was already there. It wasn't something I learned to do. And I don't feel like it's something I earned either. Like, I don't feel like I did anything to be able to do it. And I could always see at university or in college, like when I was at school, you'd have these people trying to work hard to get this degree or whatever it is, this qualification, and they would turn up after class and they'd be there all the time, churning away and making things and writing stuff and filling journals and coming after the fact and doing the after clubs and like really going overboard and being for every lecture and listening to every art lecture, you know, and writing this stuff down and making notes and doing everything they could and putting in overtime all the time to get this degree. And I was barely there. I was out getting high all the time, doing my psychedelic exploration and dicking about, you know what I mean? And I did the bare minimum and barely turned up. And I still got a better grade than most of them. And it's just the way it is. Okay? And that's okay. Some people are better at other things than others. I'm a terrible mathematician. You would be in big trouble if you were depending on me to save your life using math. Okay? I should not be allowed to do my own taxes. And thank God my wife is in my life who has that type A personality who can just get that stuff done really well, you know, because I would be lost without her. It's one of those things. Creativity, it really does feel like when you get down to it, it's a gift. It's one of those things you either have it or you don't, and you didn't earn it. It was just God imbued that into you before you came here. And it's just one of the skills he's given you that he intends for you to use for his purpose at some point. And it's up to you to actualize and figure that out. And he will use you as an action figure at some point to do whatever he needs to do with that particular skill. And you need to be ready when the time comes. That's how I kind of feel about it. If that's drawing Brindle and Beef there, or if that's making music, singing about Jesus and the folly of the new age, or if that's making videos on YouTube or whatever it is, then so be it. That's what I'm going to do with it. I'm not very precious about my art. I've made a lot of things over the years and I've given most of it away for free, without much of a second thought. I try to let it go most of the time. I don't know. It's just, this is kind of the way I feel about it. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. It's just something I have been thinking about my entire life. It's kind of like, I'm not happy it's like this either, because I wish everybody could be creative. I do. But I've seen enough now to know that some people have no business being in a gallery. Some people do not deserve their degrees in art. A lot of people flood that industry who are mediocre, pathetic, loser weirdos who all circle jerk each other at cheese and wine parties and invite each other to each other's I even say it now, exhibits, to prop each other up and pretend through pretentious language and bullshit that they're talented when they're not. Real talent gets pushed aside because it's a threat to that fake system within the art industries. And I hate it. And I don't play that game. And I feel like I've made my own thing here instead. And I use my creativity as best I can to serve, rather than to display and brown nose to a industry that's corrupt and rotten and egotistical to the core, to mediocre, talentless hacks who have no business being in that industry to begin with. You know what I mean? Not that I'm bitter about it or anything. That's why I've got the Understanding Creativity channel to maybe have these rants over there, you know. But I was very disillusioned with the art industry after going through the university system and learning what it's really all about. You go in wide-eyed thinking it's all about talent and skill. Nope. It's nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's about playing a game and playing a part and saying the right words and making enough word salad bullshit, pretentious sounding things slapped together on a little white card next to your piece of shit pile of crap in the corner artwork at an exhibit. And if it sounds pretentious enough, you pass. Again, you'll be invited and given a lot of money and you get to come to the next show, you know. It's the mediocre propping up the mediocre. That's what the art industry is and always has been. Oh, and a lot of money laundering while they're at it. Avanti Design. I always loved writing. So happy, though. I never published anything early on, so I could do it. His glory now on the important subjects. His gift just put to use, finally satisfying. Yeah. Like I said, I never even thought writing was going to be something I would do until I got into it. and started writing the book, and I realized actually this kind of I like this. This is just a new form of creativity I've never really considered being a big part of my life, and now it's probably the biggest part of my life. And again, it's just surprising how things go. It goes in waves, you know. Sometimes I'll feel like drawing, then I'll go years without drawing. Sometimes I'll feel like making a song, and then I'll go years without making a song. Sometimes I'll write a book and then take 2 years to write the second book. It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it is. That's how creativity works. You know, you can't force it. It just has to come to you. Can you briefly explain the exceptionalism of Picasso? Because from my kindergarten art room throughout the 60 years, I just don't get it. His paintings are bizarre to me. Help. Well, for his time, he was considered an avant-garde cubist, who really found his style. You know, he can paint photorealism. He could do that. But then obviously his perversion, his many sexual exploits, his dad taking him to a brothel when he was a very young boy as well to lose his virginity to these working women, which he painted as well. And it's kind of, you look through his womanizing and the rest of it, and you realize he was a deeply flawed man with a lot of perversions and the rest of it, but he was good with color and composition to a certain extent. But I think most of what he painted was the suffering of women who were suffering at the hands of himself. And I think in a sick world, low quality artwork about degradation and pain and evil sells. And people like him are propped up in a system that's corrupt like this, because it promotes not only the degradation of beauty standards, but also the promotion of denigration and perversion and that art lifestyle, you know? Like, it's kind of... He was chosen and elevated because he stood for all the things that those who seek to destroy Western civilization needed in the spotlights of the art industries for other young, impressionable artists to think is the way they need to also be. It's the same with the music industry now. You get drug-addled, sex-addled, perverted weirdos up on stage singing about the most awful things. And they get to be in the charts and go on the talk shows and on the radio shows. And they're the ones who go platinum and sell millions of albums and get put on all the cameo roles here and there and are created into idols, because they need younger people to have idols to emulate to further the rot. And Picasso was selected and put in the spotlight, and the whole industry claps along and says, how wonderful, how avant-garde, this is what we're supposed to be doing right now, isn't it so beautiful and fantastic? And then the rest of the people who are involved in that cheese and wine, brown-nosing, mediocre, propping up the mediocre bullshit system go, oh yes, this is wonderful, so avant-garde. His styles are revolutionary, and anyone who comes after him must emulate this or improve upon this particular degradative, deconstructive, postmodernist style. Even though he very much was a modernist, he contributed towards the invention of postmodernism, which was the breaking down of the norms of everything and everything around, you know, to really come into modernity. Out of modernity into post-modernity is to basically deconstruct everything. And I think the Cubists played a huge role in beginning that concept. And then you have other things like the Dadaists and like Duchamp, who put his urinal in a gallery and won, I don't know what prize he won again for his urinal, but the point is people like that are rewarded for showing you a thing that is supposed to take piss as something profound, and we'll call it found art. You know, it's never been done before. How crazy. And it's kind of like, yeah, well, you know, there's a reason it's not been done before, because it doesn't require any talent and it doesn't mean anything. Just because but these people have used magic words to try and convince us it does mean something, and they're gaslighting us because it doesn't mean anything. But by our participation, or at least the participation of the mediocre in these industries, who are looking to be a part of something and to seem important and have some kind of talent, well, they go along with the lie that it means something, so they have some pretentious bullshit to talk about at the cheese and wine parties. And because of their pretension and their propping up of the lie, and because they own all the industries and the galleries, like you end up getting this cycle where what's considered avant-garde or good art is something that deconstructs beauty standards or the things that came before, as though destroying things is progress. Do you get what I mean? And it's a mess. The industry's a mess. Honestly, it's horrible. I hate it. It's the worst thing that's ever happened because if you destroy beauty standards and art and creativity and what people perceive as a standard in creativity, the rest of civilization goes with it. Think of the standards people had when they built cathedrals. Think of the moral standings they had. And look at what we build today. Cubes, glass cubes made of metal, everywhere. Angular, simple, geometric structures that don't have form or meaning, or very little purpose as well, or functionality. If not just a basic, bland cube with nothing, no frills, no patterns, just functionality and utilitarianism over form. That's the product of a defeated, demoralized people. And it's what came first, the chicken or the egg, the building or the demoralization, you know. And I think the buildings demoralize people, then demoralized people build more of the same. And it's a cycle. It's a horrible cycle. And it's the same in the art industries, you know. People make terrible artwork, put it in the galleries to demoralize people, then demoralized people create more shitty, crappy artwork which fills those galleries. And it's a self-perpetuating mess from then on, and degradation. And the lack of beauty in the world kills the soul. That's the problem. That's what they really want to remove, tradition and beauty. And Picasso, the early modernists who were kind of breaking early molds, I don't think they understood what they were doing or the consequences long term of what they were starting either. But I think the game's always been the same. The people who run the show will put people of poor moral character and of low talent in the spotlight and will tell the rest of the world this person is the best thing since sliced bread. And most people are gaslit enough to believe it because they're too scared to be seen as different or going against the mainstream grain. And I think Picasso was just another product of that. Don't think it changes at all, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to end this show on a rant about art, but there we go. I should probably clip that and pop it over to the Understanding Creativity channel. Give it a bit of a revival. There's a different audience over there who are just purely art people and not conspiracy people, and they do not understand where I'm coming from whatsoever. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hilarious. I really enjoy their reactions sometimes. Completely out of left field for them. They have no idea what I'm talking about half the time, and they get really offended when I start attacking the sacred cow artists and stuff like this. Right, guys, I'll end it there. We're going over 2 hours. I'm looking at the chat thinking I might go on a bit. I got to stop there. We're going over for 2 hours. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening for whatever this was. It was just an impromptu live, a bit of a prep before the 100th episode for the live Q&As. I don't know what I'll do for that. That's in a week's time. I do have a big podcast coming up, so maybe it'll be a celebration about that after the fact. And it should be good fun. So we'll do that. We'll deal with that next week. But thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go get to bed now. If you want to support me or help me in any way, the best way to do that is through Patreon. YouTube has been going down and down and down in revenue quite a lot, drastically. It's halved in the since about 3 to 4 months ago what it was, and Patreon has really helped support me and kind of bring that back to something of a normality. I don't know what's going on with YouTube necessarily. I've got many theories about the algorithm change and push to short form content, but my views haven't necessarily dropped, but ad revenue has, and it's kind of odd. So I've done nothing. I've not changed, but the system's clearly changing, whatever that is. But any support you can show, I try and give back as much as I can through Patreon with extra content. There'll be something is on there currently for you guys to go and check out if you're interested. Early access to a podcast, and there's about 10 episodes of a series that isn't on YouTube, talking about the things you're not allowed to say here. So it's spicy stuff over there as well, guys. So go and check that out if you want to. Link is in the chat. It's in the description. And that really is the best way to help me carry on doing what I'm doing here today. So any help you can offer, guys, I'll take it. I really will. I'm not ashamed to ask when I need help, and I do need help. So please consider becoming a patron. It's just that assurance for me and my family. And if you find value in what I do, that's the best way to go support me and get something back in return as well. Or buy a book. Buy a book, supports me directly, you get a book. Or if you're interested, still have one signed copy left. You can buy this from me directly by emailing me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. Or maybe I could commission a drawing. It's something I do offer as well. And I still am offering one-to-one phone calls as well. By a pay-by-play situation. Email me and we can sort out pricing. So yeah, I'm trying to diversify without taking sponsors. Before you know it, guys, if this doesn't work out, I'll be selling you supplements, emergency preparedness kits. I'll see if Squarespace wants to get on board or something like this as well. I'll be selling a lot of supplements, colloidal silver. I'll maybe sell some herbal protocols for parasite cleanses. I'll see if any of those businesses want to get in touch. And I'll be selling you end of the world preparedness kits. So that's what's coming down the line, no doubt, if I can't sort this out. But if you want to avoid that, support me. That's all it is. So I'll leave that there, guys. I've shilled for myself enough. I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for listening. I'll be back soon with more videos, and as always, God bless.